Hey family, this is day 59 of our Reading Through the Bible Together in a Year series. Today we're covering Deuteronomy chapters 29, 30, and 31. Now where we left off yesterday is that Moses has just thrown out a bunch of curses and a lot of bad things that are going to happen to Israel if they don't keep the covenant. This is an important section because Moses is basically giving his last speeches to this generation of Israel before they go into the promised land, before Moses dies. So let's see what happens today. These are the words of the agreement which Moshe was ordered by Yahweh to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, in addition to the agreement which he made with them in Horeb. And Moshe said in the hearing of all Israel, "You have seen all Yahweh did before your eyes in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh and to all his servants in all his land, the great tests which your eyes saw and the signs and wonders. But even to this day Yahweh has not given you a mind open to knowledge, or seeing eyes or hearing ears. For 40 years I have been your guide through the wasteland. Your clothing has not become old on your backs, or your shoes on your feet. You have had no bread or wine or strong drink, so that you might see that I am Yahweh your God. When you came to this place, Sihon, king of Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, came out to make war against us, and we overcame them. And we took their land and gave it to the Reubenites, and the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh for their heritage. So keep the words of this agreement and do them, so that it may be well for you in everything you do. You have come here today, all of you, before Yahweh your God, the heads of your tribes, the overseers, and those who are in authority over you, with all the men of Israel, and your little ones, your wives, and the men of other lands who are with you in your tents, down to the woodcutter and the servant who gets water for you, with the purpose of taking part in the agreement of Yahweh your God and his oath which he makes with you today, and so that he may make you his people today, and be your God, as he has said to you, and as he made an oath to your fathers, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And not with you only do I make this agreement and this oath, but with everyone who is here with us today before Yahweh our God, as well as those who are not here. For you have in mind how we were living in the land of Egypt, and how we came through all the nations which were on your way, and you have seen their disgusting doings, and the images of wood and stone and silver and gold which were among them. So that there may not be among you any man or woman or family or tribe whose heart is turned away from Yahweh our God today, to go after other gods and give them worship, or any root among you whose fruit is poison and bitter sorrow. If such a man, hearing the words of this oath, takes comfort in the thought that he will have peace, even if he goes on in the pride of his heart, taking whatever chance may give him, Yahweh will have no mercy on him, but the wrath of Yahweh will be burning against that man. And all the curses recorded in this book will be waiting for him, and Yahweh will take away his name completely from the earth. He will be marked out by Yahweh from all the tribes of Israel for an evil fate, in keeping with all the curses of the agreement recorded in this book of the law. And future generations, your children coming after you, and travelers from far countries will say, when they see the punishments of the land and the diseases which Yahweh has sent on it, and that all the land is a salt and smoking waste, not planted or giving fruit or clothed with grass, but wasted like Sodom and Amorah, Admah and Zeboim, on which Yahweh sent destruction in the heat of his wrath. Truly all the nations will say, why has Yahweh done so to this land? What is the reason for this great and burning wrath? Then men will say, because they gave up the agreement of Yahweh, the God of their fathers, which he made with them when he took them out of the land of Egypt. And they went after other gods and gave them worship, gods who were strange to them, and whom he had not given them. And so the wrath of Yahweh was moved against this land, to send on it all the curse recorded in this book, rooting them out of their land in the heat of his wrath and passion, and driving them out into another land as at this day. The secret things are Yahweh our God's, but the things which have been made clear are ours and our children's forever, so that we may do all the words of this law. Now when all these things have come on you, the blessing and the curse which I have put before you, if the thought of them comes back to your minds when you are living among the nations where Yahweh your God has sent you, and your hearts are turned again to Yahweh your God, and you give ear to his word which I give you today, you and your children, with all your heart and with all your soul, then Yahweh will have pity on you, changing your fate and taking you back again from among all the nations where you have been forced to go, even if those who have been forced out are living in the farthest part of heaven. Yahweh your God will go in search of you and take you back, placing you again in the land of your fathers as your heritage, and he will do you good, increasing you until you are more in number than your fathers were. And Yahweh your God will give to you and to your seed a circumcision of the heart, so that, loving him with all your heart and all your soul, you may have life. And Yahweh your God will put all these curses on those who are against you, and on your haters who put a cruel yoke on you. And you will again give ear to the voice of Yahweh, and do all his orders which I have given you today. And Yahweh your God will make you fertile in all good things, blessing the work of your hands, and the fruit of your body, and the fruit of your cattle, and the fruit of your land. For Yahweh will have joy in you, as he had in your fathers, if you give ear to the voice of Yahweh your God, keeping his orders and his laws which are recorded in this book of the law, and turning to Yahweh your God with all your heart and with all your soul. For these orders which I have given you today are not strange and secret, and are not far away. They are not in heaven for you to say, Who will go up to heaven for us, and give us knowledge of them, so that we may do them? And they are not across the sea for you to say, Who will go over the sea for us, and give us news of them, so that we may do them? But the word is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart, so that you may do it. See, I have put before you today life and good, and death and evil, in giving you orders today to have love for Yahweh your God, to go in his ways and keep his laws and his orders and his decisions, so that you may have life and be increased, and that the blessing of Yahweh your God may be with you in the land where you are going, the land of your heritage. But if your heart is turned away and your ear is shut, and you go after those who would make you servants and worshippers of other gods, I give witness against you this day that destruction will certainly be your fate, and your days will be cut short in the land where you are going, the land of your heritage on the other side of Yarden. Let heaven and earth be my witnesses against you this day that I have put before you life and death, a blessing and a curse. So take life for yourselves and for your seed, in loving Yahweh your God, hearing his voice and being true to him. For he is your life, and by him will your days be long, so that you may go on living in the land which Yahweh gave by an oath to your fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. So Moshe said all these things to Israel. Then he said to them, I am now 120 years old. I am no longer able to go out and come in. And Yahweh has said to me, You are not to go over Yarden. Yahweh your God, he will go over before you. He will send destruction on all those nations, and you will take their land as your heritage, and Yehoshua will go over at your head, as Yahweh has said. Yahweh will do to them as he did to Sihon and to Og, the kings of the Amorites, and to their land whom he put to destruction. Yahweh will give them up into your hands, and you are to do to them as I have given you orders. Be strong and take heart, and have no fear of them, for it is Yahweh your God who is going with you. He will not take away his help from you. Then Moshe sent for Yehoshua, and before the eyes of all Israel said to him, Be strong and take heart, for you are to go with this people into the land which Yahweh by his oath to their fathers has given them. By your help they will take it for their heritage. It is Yahweh who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not take away his help from you or give you up, so have no fear. Then Moshe put all this law in writing and gave it to the priests, the sons of Levi, who take up the ark of Yahweh's agreement, and to all the responsible men of Israel. And Moshe said to them, At the end of every 7 years, at the time fixed for the ending of debts, at the feasts of tents, when all Israel has come before Yahweh your God in the place named by him, let a reading be given of this law in the hearing of all Israel. Make all the people come together, men and women and children, and anyone from another country who is with you, so that hearing they may become wise in the fear of Yahweh your God, and take care to do all the words of this law. And so that your children, to whom it is new, may give ear and be trained in the fear of Yahweh your God, while you are living in the land which you are going over Yarden to take for your heritage. At that time Yahweh said to Moshe, The day of your death is near. Send for Yehoshua and come to the tent of meeting, so that I may give him orders. So Moshe and Yehoshua went to the tent of meeting, and Yahweh was seen in the tent in a pillar of cloud resting by the door of the tent. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Now you are going to rest with your fathers, and this people will be false to me, uniting themselves to the strange gods of the land where they are going. They will be turned away from me, and will not keep the agreement I have made with them. In that day my wrath will be moved against them, and I will be turned away from them, veiling my face from them, and destruction will overtake them, and unnumbered evils and troubles will come on them, so that in that day they will say, Have not these evils come on us because our God is not with us? Truly my face will be turned away from them in that day, because of all the evil they have done in going after other gods. Make then this song for yourselves, teaching it to the children of Israel. Put it in their mouths, so that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. For when I have taken them into the land named in my oath to their fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey, and they have made themselves full of food and are fat, then they will be turned to other gods and will give them worship, no longer honoring me or keeping my agreement. Then when evils and troubles without number have overtaken them, this song will be a witness to them, for the words of it will be clear in the memories of their children. For I see the thoughts which are moving in their hearts even now, before I have taken them into the land of my oath. So that same day Moshe made this song, teaching it to the children of Israel. Then he gave orders to Yehoshua the son of Nun, saying to him, Be strong and take heart, for you are to go at the head of the children of Israel into the land which I made an oath to give them, and I will be with you. Now after writing all the words of this law in a book until the record of them was complete, Moshe said to the Levites who were responsible for taking up the ark of Yahweh's agreement, Take this book of the law and put it by the ark of Yahweh's agreement, so that it may be a witness against you. For I have knowledge of your hard and uncontrolled hearts. Even now, while I am still living, you will not be ruled by Yahweh. How much less after my death? Get together before me all those who are in authority in your tribes and your overseers, so that I may say these things in their hearing, and make heaven and earth my witnesses against them. For I am certain that after my death you will give yourselves up to sin, wandering from the way which I have given you, and evil will overtake you in the end, because you will do evil in the eyes of Yahweh, moving him to wrath by the work of your hands. Then in the hearing of all the meeting of Israel, Moshe said the words of this song to the end. So Moses is reiterating the covenant. He's saying this is between you and God and for all the generations after you. One of the things I really like is this section in chapter 30. See, I have set before you today life and prosperity and death and adversity, right? Moses is putting forth the idea you could have life in abundance or you can have death and despair. Moses is putting both of those things before the people, so it's up to them to decide what do they want. Do they want to live a life in accordance with God and the way that God wants his creation to be, or do they want a life of chaos and disorder and despair where God veils his face and covers himself away from his people? This is just so interesting to think about. It's not that the choice is being made for you, Israel. It's that here is the options. Do with them what you will. So that's interesting to focus on, especially in light of the fact that he's putting both of those choices before them, and then God himself, and Moses will say in the reading tomorrow as well, that Israel, of course, will not choose life and abundance, right? Israel will fall away. Israel will not choose God, and just that's already just being thrown out there. I mean, it's pretty depressing, but I guess it's this need for the transformation of the human heart that we're starting to see here. So I hope you have a wonderful day.